Welcome in, Hunt and Hill, on a Thursday from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios in the capital city. I am Hunt Palmer. He is Jeremy Hill. Casey Gaines, Taylor Sharp on the ones and twos. Busy show this afternoon, and we'll start them on the phone lines. Jennifer Hale at Jen Hale 504 roams the sidelines for Fox Sports, and she'll be at Saints Panthers on Sunday. Jen, thanks for a little bit of time. How are you?
Hey, guys. I'm great. Thanks so much for having me.
Absolutely. It is our pleasure. And first of all, I think you spent a lot of time in New Orleans and a lot of time around Sean Payton and the Saints. There was always a sense that we kind of knew what it was supposed to look like through the Drew Brees era. It may not always be the best performance, but we knew what it was supposed to look like. There was a lot of unknown going into last week, and they answered a lot of questions. What did you take out of their week one performance?
It was fantastic, guys. It was better than I think anybody ever hoped for or imagined it would be. And the shining star of the whole thing, Jameis Winston. Jameis 2.0 is a completely different quarterback when it comes to decision making. Everybody should be so encouraged within the Saints Nation and then just Jameis's fans everywhere. He came away from that game and said the best pass he threw was the one he threw away out of bounds. The decision-making, the maturity, the way he's seeing the field, that has all just jumped to another level that's going to serve him so well. The question now, can he be consistent? Can he do that week in and week out? Because, guys, I was worried about him last week, playing what ended up being a road game, supposed to be a home game, feeling the pressure of playing for the city in the wake of Ida. Isn't it funny because Drew Brees did that in the wake of Katrina? So Jameis's tenure as starting quarterback beginning somewhat similarly. And obviously he handled the pressure fantastically. Now, this week, take two, just double the pressure because now you've got 6 offensive coaches out, as well as a bunch of injuries. At center position, you're going to have somebody new in there. So I hope Jameis takes through that same maturity and discipline into this week as he did last week.
Working with Fox, you obviously were around Jameis a lot when he was with Tampa and spent a lot of time around Sean Payton as well. I want to ask about both those guys. I'll start with Jameis. The decision-making on the field, we know, has been much better, was much better last week. Off the field is where I think he's made a lot of strides as well, coming to New Orleans and kind of re-energizing his career. From the guy you spoke with when he was a rookie and was a young player in this league to the guy that's the quarterback of the Saints now, off the field, what have you seen his growth?
He's so coachable. You know, he was a starting quarterback for a while in this league. It's not like he was a rookie brought in to sit behind Drew. And he humbly took that chance to sit behind Drew and learn instead of you might have seen some other veterans chafe at the bit, want to prove themselves, then be upset that they're in a competition with Taysom Hill. And to Jameis's credit, he took every step the right way, and he was coachable. He got better. He wanted to know where his weaknesses were. He has been so disciplined in as far as taking care of his body, improving his skill set. He's always been a great dude. You heard about some of the mishaps at Florida State, a couple of the poor decisions he made toward the beginning of his professional career. I used to work with Rondé Barber, still one of my dear friends, and he always told me, he said, Jen, you were going to love this guy. He is such a good person. He's just so eager. If you said, hey, it would be so much fun if we ran and jumped off a cliff, he'd say, okay, yeah, let's do it. If you're going to do it, I'm going to do it. That, I think he has learned how to balance that a little bit, that enthusiasm for life and for opportunity with a little bit of critical thinking skills. Is this really a good choice for me in this moment? So I think he's grown tremendously in that. And, hey, being a father and a husband has certainly contributed to that as well.
Saints traveling up to Carolina this week. They got Christian McCaffrey over there. How do you think that defense starts to slow him down?
They have their hands full, let me tell you. Run CMC is one of the best I've ever seen do it. He's an MMA fighter in the offseason. He trains with other MMA fighters. He is so shifty, the way he can break a tackle, the way he can shake off a defender, elude a defender. It's kind of it doesn't necessarily be indicative of his size. You look at him and he's kind of on the smaller side. Let me tell you, don't count this guy out. The Saints defense is going to have their hands full. Now, what's interesting, guys, in week one, the Panthers and the Saints both had 2 of the best run-stopping defenses in the entire league, both walking away with incredible stats as far as that goes. Well, this is going to be a big test for both of them. Christian McCaffrey testing the Saints defense, and then Alvin Kamara testing that Panthers defense.
Baton Rouge loves its Saints, but it's more of an LSU, a college market first. And so I'm always fascinated when the college coaches make the leap up to the NFL. Obviously, Matt Rule had some success at the college level and was hired by the Panthers. He's in year 2 now. What do you make of him as a fit in the NFL and the progress that team's made under him?
I really like him. I really think he's going to be something special. He's digging out of a hole, right? He's definitely starting from behind, and then you factor in the COVID year. I mean, that just oh my gosh, that washes away so much. But he has the right demeanor as a head coach. There are some great coordinators out there. They're just not meant to be head coaches. I think Matt Rule is one of those who has the temperament and the emotion to be a head coach. And then, hey, look at who he's brought on staff. I think one storyline that isn't really being talked about much this week, this is really one of Sean's understudies versus him, Joe Brady at LSU and with the Saints. And he's trying to do with Sam Darnold exactly what Sean's trying to do with Jameis Winston. So I think that's going to be a really interesting chess match to watch play out.
We're very familiar with Joe Brady down here. His star only shines brighter as it seems to get further away from his time here in Baton Rouge in 2019. You mentioned Sam Darnold. We talk about Jameis Winston's fresh start, obviously from going from the pressure cooker that is New York down to Carolina where things maybe move a little bit slower. Maybe a breath of fresh air for Sam Darnold.
No doubt. You could not have said it better. That market, guys, it's just tough. It's tough to go report in and do a game in for a week. In my opinion, they're skewed. They are going to make something out of nothing every single day. So I think it is huge for Sam Darnold to be somewhere where he can just focus on football. And he doesn't have to worry about what's going to be twisted, how he said something or how he didn't say something or what someone else said about him. I think this is a great fresh beginning for him. And by all indications from last week, it certainly looks like he's taking advantage of it. Now, the Panthers did slow down on that second half. The production wasn't the same. But, man, there were some really nice deep balls in that first half to his receivers. DJ Moore looked really good. This is going to be a tough test for the Saints defense.
I know the Saints absolutely dominated Green Bay in week 1, but is there any concerns going into week 2 going against Carolina?
Yes, of course there are. First of all, when you have an emotional win that big, Jeremy, you know this, it can be really hard not to have an emotional letdown after that type of game. Also, don't forget, the Saints have been in exile since last month. They evacuated ahead of Ida. They've been living out of Dallas, and now you've got this whole COVID thing sweeping through the locker room. Unfortunately, here it is week 2, and the Saints are the biggest COVID outbreak so far. So you've got 6 offensive coaches who may not be on the field come Sunday. Right now, they have been vaccinated, but they still tested positive. So that means they can't be around the players. Everything is via Zoom. They can, because they're vaccinated, they can come back and coach if they get 2 consecutive negative tests. But if they don't, guys, you're going to be down 6 assistants on the sideline on Sunday, in addition to all the injuries that you're already dealing with. So what are you going to do? Have the quarterbacks coaching the wide receivers, the running backs, and in Jameis's ear? I think that is going to be a very curious situation to watch how Sean and the 3 offensive coaches he has left handle that if indeed those 6 other coaches cannot be present on Sunday.
Well, you can say something unequivocally. The Saints have dealt with more off-the-field adversity than anyone in the NFL over the last couple of weeks with the hurricane and going to Dallas and then going to Jacksonville and then having the COVID outbreak. I know that y'all's production meetings aren't until, in the next couple of days before the Sunday kickoff, but what's the sense you get as to how they'll handle that?
Well, I talked to Sean yesterday about it, and if there's a silver lining, guys, Sean Payton loves adversity.
Yep.
He feeds off of somebody saying, you can't do it, you're the underdog. If I were a Saints fan, and off the record I am, but I can't say that this week, I would always want there to be some sort of adversity because it gets him going. When the Saints go in as the favorite, it's like there's no emotion. There's nothing to feed off of. He needs bulletin board material. So, I did a radio spot for Fox, or a TV spot for Fox and Friends this morning, and I picked the Saints because, even though they have all of these injuries, all of these COVID questions, all of the evacuation stresses, I think that is just going to give Sean Payton more motivation to say, watch me, all eyes are on me, I love this, I live for this, and I'm going to triumph in it.
Jen Hale's joining us here, Fox Sports. She'll be on the sideline for Saints and Panthers on Sunday. Jen, we'll get you out of here on this one. Your time very much appreciated. I don't know what your opinion was of this division before the season kicked off. Obviously, the defending Super Bowl champs have everyone back and won their ball game on opening night. Does what happened last Sunday change your opinion on where the Saints may fit in this division?
Well, it gives me more reason to be hopeful and intrigued. I'll share this with you. I spoke with a general manager, not the Saints or the Panthers, during preseason, and was asking him, who are you looking at? Who floats your boat, so to speak? And he said, circle the Saints. Everybody's counting them out because of no Drew Brees. He thinks they could be just as dangerous as always. Everybody nationwide is saying, oh, it's going to be a rebuilding process for a couple of years. You're going to have to get new players in. You're going to have to get Jameis acquainted with the system. From what I saw last week, and granted, I don't think it's always going to be that great, but even if it's close and the defense can play complementary football, I think this team will compete, and I think they're a playoff team this year.
She is Jen Hale. You can follow her on Twitter at JenHale504. She will be on the call. Saints and Panthers on Sunday. Jen, safe travels. We'll be watching on Sunday.
Thanks, guys, for having me. Appreciate it. Have a great day.